I'm Tom, and we are seeing the return of Deontay Wilder versus Tyrell. If I'm honest with you, it's a bit of a nobody opponent. It's an opponent that no one really knows, no one really cares about. It's not about that, it's about the return of Deontay Wilder. And something well worth mentioning, in fact, the very thing I'm going to start with regards to this fight, is the mentality that we're seeing Deontay Wilder with. Look, mentally, he's different from what we've seen recently. I'd actually say he's different to what we've kind of ever seen. We've seen a very driven Deontay Wilder before, a very purposeful Deontay Wilder before, and then we've seen a much more calm and relaxed, almost faithful Deontay Wilder before. Most recently, we've seen him be that relaxed, cool, calm, kind of collected, gospel-speaking almost Deontay Wilder. Now we're seeing a very rageful Deontay Wilder, a very vengeful, spiteful Deontay Wilder that I don't think we've really seen. And I wonder why. He's obviously got some things that are bringing this out of him, whether it's his relationship or kind of the way his boxing legacy is being talked about now. Look, I'm not sure. I'm not going to pretend I know. But we are seeing a very different, mentally, Deontay Wilder at the moment. And I don't mind that. I think, look, if we're going to see the best of Deontay Wilder, that's what we need to see. Someone with purpose, someone with drive, someone with desire, someone with a bit of vengeance, a bit of attitude about him to go in there and get a performance that's going to allow him to get the fights like Joshua. I don't mind it. Look, maybe that's what he needs to bring out the best in him. I don't know. I'm not saying it is, but it's certainly what I'm recognising. Ultimately, I don't know how much it really changes things. So look, Deontay Wilder's 39 years old. Is this just a case of too little too late? He can get vengeful, he can get spiteful, and maybe it'll bring back that one-punch instinct that we've seen previously, that desire and that heart to land that one punch that was missing when he fought Zhilei Zhang, that was missing when he fought Joseph Parker. But ultimately, the bottom line is, at 39 years old, look, they always say the last thing to go is your power, and that's great. But at 39 years old, how much is really left in the tank? That's what we're going to see. We're going to see Deontay Wilder have to put it all on the line. We're going to see Deontay Wilder have to want to make something of this, because otherwise, again, at 39 years old, I don't really know how much difference it's going to make. As they say, talk is cheap, especially in the business of boxing. Let's see him get in there and let's see what's left. With Wilder, look, we know he's not the best boxer. This opponent isn't going to tell us anything necessarily we don't already know. I'm not going to see him get in there, box rings around someone and think to myself, wow, this is the Olympic bronze medalist we should have been seeing. This is the world champion that we should have been seeing. What I might see is him go in there, chin someone in 30 seconds, going for it, pushing forward, and think to myself, okay. And that's all Deontay Wilder ever really was, is that you throw your chips on Wilder because he might get a KO. And that's something that has been missing. That's all we're really going to say. As I say, talk is cheap. Let's see what he's got. I'm going to be honest with you. I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win. But the reality of it is, who really cares? No one really knows this guy that he's fighting. He's certainly not a top contender, so doesn't do anything for Wilder except dust off the cobwebs, dust off the ring rust, and get him back in there. So he's probably going to win, but nobody really cares. What we really care about is, does he knock someone out in 10, inside 10 minutes, or does he go the distance and have to get himself a points victory, which is very out of character for Deontay Wilder. And I actually think with the rage that we're seeing him have, he's probably going to go in there and chin him within 3 rounds, which is what we need to get any hope of boxing anybody like Dubois, which I'm not saying he should, but Dubois, Usyk, AJ. He's going to need to go in there and blow him out of the water very, very quickly. The thing is, for me, is what next? Who does he fight? You've got a few options, maybe Chisora, maybe White. But is he going to fight AJ? I mean, AJ's, in my opinion, still top 5, top 6, top 7, definitely top 10. Wilder's not. Have they declined? I think AJ was up there anyway and Wilder was there. Have they declined at the same rate? Or really, in my opinion, is it something like that? Because That's what we're going to see. Are we really going to see him fight AJ? Maybe. Maybe if he blows him out there in 2 minutes, and we've seen how AJ's chin looked against Dubois, we might go, oh, hang on a second. Yeah, AJ's going to outbox him maybe better. But after what Wilder did to this guy, I might want Dubois did to AJ. Maybe there's that chance. And that's all you kind of really have for it. Joe Joyce, we've been talking about that for ages, the granite chin versus the bronze bomber. But again, we've got somebody who's kind of, the chin's been cracked and he's looked really poor in his last few fights versus Wilder, who hasn't been impressive. Where does he want to get? Is it just get your name in the mix so that when Usyk inevitably retires, quite possibly after he fights Dubois on July 19th, he might retire after that with what's happened with his promoter? Is it just when the belts scatter, hope because you're a big name, land yourself in for one of the belts? Look, the WBC probably will give, if that happens, give Wilder a fight for the belt because the WBC just seem to have lost all their morals. So they'll give Wilder a fight because Wilder's got, a name value. Is it that? Is he waiting for someone to retire so he can just try and, survive off the name? What I do think does work in his favour is the fact he's left Malik Scott. That was needed. I was calling for that for such a long time. Malik Scott made Wilder into Malik Scott. Malik Scott tried to make Wilder into a boxer. He's not a boxer. He's got one thing, but that's fine, because Wilder only needs one thing. He only needs that right hand. Stop trying to make Wilder something he's not. Make him go for that one punch. What's got him that massive, crazy record, that belt, that long streak. Just make him go for the right hand. And he's left Malik Scott. Hopefully the new trainer brings that out of him, keeps him looking for that right hand. Look, I personally think Wilder's career as a whole is overrated. His run up to the belt, his run during the belt up to the Fury fight. I actually think the Fury trilogy's kind of looked on too positively as well. I really like the trilogy of Fury, but people saying like the third fight was the best. Go and watch the third fight. After round 3, they were fucked. It was just two heavyweights just leaning on each other for round after round, just leaning on each other, just swinging haymakers. That's all it was after round 3. And I'm not trying to shit on it. It was exciting because you didn't know who was going to win. But that's all it was. You just didn't know who was going to land that haymaker and win. And it was sloppy, slow, clinch fest boxing. I think it's looked on far too positively, especially when the likes of other heavyweights don't get the same praise. It's just the Fury effect. And I'm worried that's what's happened to Wilder. So I'm not going to get caught up in the hype. Look, I think he's going to win, but where after? What's the plan? People, let me know your thoughts on everything in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. As always, make sure you leave a like, a comment, subscribe. You know how this stuff works, people. Peace.